Ah, it's time for the bride and groom to enter. Hey, why are you here? Shouldn't guests be seated by now? Did you arrange for there to be no seat for me? There's no seat for outsiders, so leave. As usual, such a selfish, spoiled, childish woman. Anger is rising, but it's a celebration. So I need to stay calm. It's okay, by the time the reception is over, she will regret it. I turned my back on my sister-in-law without saying a word. I left the wedding venue without turning back, hearing her loud laughter. My name is Mary, and I'm 37. I'm a housewife living with my husband. I work from home, which allows me to work whenever I like, making it easy to balance with household chores. My husband is kind, serious, and calm. I've never seen him angry. My husband has a younger sister named Julia. She was a college student until last year. She's cute, delicate, and sensitive to trends, just like today's young women. Having lost their parents early, my husband has been like a parent to her since she was young. The two siblings have supported each other throughout their lives. Naturally, as his wife, the sister-in-law sees me as a rival, feeling as if her only family has been taken away. I can understand her feelings. Thinking back, ever since we first met 2 years ago, she has glared at me, ignored me, and made snide remarks, clear acts of malice. From my perspective, as a woman in her 40s, her obvious jealousy seems almost cute. Brother is too good for you, or dress better, your embarrassing brother. She would say, and I'd just respond casually, okay, sorry about that, and brush it off. At least until recently. Hello, is brother here? She would suddenly come to visit like this. This month alone, she's come over 10 times. I was welcoming at first since we were newly married, but it's become too frequent and annoying. She's selfish, not caring about our circumstances. I understand she wants to see her brother, but she's an adult and should call before coming. It's frustrating. When I open the door, oh, it's you, Mary. Where's brother? He just went to the convenience store. Then I'll wait. She enters without permission, takes a drink from the fridge, and sits on the sofa. It's always like this, but today, with my husband not home, it feels a bit more irritating. From her perspective, it might be brother's house, but it's also my house. I hardened my heart and told her, Julia, I've always thought this, but you really should stop your thoughtless behavior. Huh? What are you suddenly talking about? It's not just about you, your actions could embarrass others too. Be careful. I tried to say it in as kind a tone as possible, but it seems to have upset her. Taking advantage of brother not being here, are you bullying me? That's not what I mean, Julia. I think it will cause you trouble later. I won't forgive you. I'm going to tell brother. I don't mind. What a hassle. It's not like a children's quarrel to tattle. After all, I won't listen to a shut-in freeloader like you. I was stunned. Usually, I don't care much about what she says. But calling me a freeloader is something I cannot ignore. I'm working from home, not a shut-in or a freeloader. Yeah, let's just say that. If you're not a freeloader, then maybe just a burden? In front of her brother, she never shows this disrespectful attitude, which makes me angry. Just then, my husband returned. I'm home. Hearing his voice, the sister-in-law suddenly changed her demeanor. Brother, welcome back. Julia, you were here again? Yes. I was nearby and came to see brother. She snuggles up to him, not really wanting to be affectionate with her real brother but rather to compete with me. Listen. Mary was terrible to me just now. She begins to talk excitedly, while I decide to remain silent. She said I have no common sense and called me shameless, so horrible. Mary said that? Yes. I was so scared I almost cried, sniffle. My husband looked at me with a troubled face, clearly realizing the story was exaggerated. He wants to be a kind brother for her, and hopes his wife and sister get along well, but being caught in the middle is tough. So, brother, scold Mary, will you? The puzzled look on my husband's face. I sighed. This is why I dread visits from my sister-in-law. It's exhausting to deal with her. My husband said. Mary wouldn't say that without a reason. Did you do something, Julia? Her eyes widened in shock, not expecting to be accused. What? I'm the bad one? That's not what I meant. I can't believe it, brother. You've changed since getting married. It's all her fault. Stop it, the weird one is you. Brother? It's okay, you can learn common sense. It's good to take adults around you as examples. As my husband said this and nodded at me, I did the same. She didn't like that, got angry, and stormed out with loud footsteps. I refuse. I don't care anymore. My husband shrugged his shoulders and said, Sorry for my selfish sister. It's hard to say, that's okay, or no problem, and I struggled to respond. She'll probably come back as if nothing happened, and it'll be fine. I wish she would find someone nice, so she wouldn't cling to me so much. My husband muttered this with a sigh. I agreed and nodded deeply. A month has passed since then. Really, there have been no visits from my sister-in-law. And we've been living peacefully. I thought she would quickly get over it and come over as usual, but maybe she's still angry? I was also immature. I'm a bit concerned. But there was no need to worry. She suddenly visited as usual, wearing flashy clothes and new accessories that I've never seen before. And she was in a very good mood. I'm getting married. The wedding date is set. We were both surprised by the sudden good news. Isn't that too sudden? Well, I'm pregnant. What? Who's the partner? He's a company president, very wealthy. He fell in love with me at first sight and wants to marry me quickly. He buys me anything and listens to everything I say. Aren't you jealous? My boastful sister-in-law. Indeed, that is enviable. That's great, really great. My husband is genuinely happy. He seems to be teary-eyed. It's natural since he was a parent figure to her. I'm happy, of course. Congratulations, Julia. However, with a malicious smile, she said, there are too many guests at the wedding, and they won't fit in the venue. You know, because he's a president. Wow, that's amazing. I feel bad for you, Mary, but there's only a seat for brother. Sorry. My mouth fell open. It's unimaginable, beyond common sense or manners. It's harassment. She smirked at me and said, Brother, here, the invitation. The ceremony is in a month. Without accepting it, my husband shook his head. I'm sorry, but I have a business trip that day. What? I can't go, so please mark me as absent. He said it clearly, without hesitation. Don't joke. It's my only sister's wedding. Get someone else to replace your business trip. Julia. My husband calmly called his sister's name and advised her. If there are too many of her partner's guests to invite Mary, Then I don't need to force myself to go. Let's have dinner together some other time. Really, congratulations on your marriage. Julia trembled with rage, unable to hide her anger. Are you serious? Of course. No, just come alone, brother. That's not possible. At that moment, she tore up the invitation. I thought I'd let just you come, but now. The worst. Once again, my sister-in-law stomped away with deliberately loud footsteps. She's just too childish. It's as if she's saying, if you don't like it, I'll exclude you from the group. Hey, if it weren't for the business trip, would you have attended? When I asked my husband, he thought for a moment and then shook his head. Things can't always go as you want. That's true. A month later, I was alone at the wedding venue. Why? Because I was invited to a certain wedding. The banquet hall, lavishly decorated, was filled with tables right up to the walls. I pushed through the overflowing crowd of guests looking for my seat, but couldn't find it. Excuse me, I can't find my seat. When I asked the venue staff, they helped me, but with a puzzled look. They said, this seat is already taken. I thanked them and stepped outside the hall. I work from home normally, so I'm not good with crowds. I wanted to sit down quickly. The bride and groom were about to enter. What should I do? Then, a familiar woman in a pure white dress walked towards me. My sister-in-law. How dare you show up? She said with a demonic expression, and I replied. Because I was invited. Yes, this is my sister-in-law's wedding. But, the person who invited me was the groom. He has been a friend for a long time, and we still keep in touch. When I saw the seating chart and your name under husband's friends, I thought it couldn't be you. Suddenly, I became curious about the tight design of her dress. Maybe it was nosy, but I asked, by the way, are you feeling okay? Don't overdo it. What do you mean? You're pregnant, right? She smiled a bit and said, it's okay, that was a lie to get married. What? He's a president, pays well, and is somewhat handsome. I couldn't let him get away, it's inevitable. I was speechless, shocked. It's all settled now. Unbelievable. Lies and jokes can't cover it. Fraud. How can she tell such a consequential lie so easily? Is there something loose in her head? If only Mary wasn't even a friend, it would have been perfect. Oh, the worst. It's not my fault. The groom has been my friend since before I met my sister-in-law. From our student days. He was always working too hard, bearing the pressure as the second generation of his company. I remember often giving him advice. His company only recently got on track. Yet, this woman pays well, somewhat handsome, sounding so haughty. Honestly, it was surprising that he chose my sister-in-law, but if he's happy, that's fine. And I wanted to celebrate in my own way. That's why I attended the wedding, though I wasn't supposed to be invited. Julia, could you check where my seat is? She must have heard, but she ignored me. Ah. It's time for the entrance. Hey, why are you here? Guests should quickly take their seats. Her snickering attitude, she must know something. My seat is taken, someone else is sitting there. Could it be? Ah. Someone is sitting there? Then who are you? You're not a friend of my husband's. There's no seat for outsiders, so leave. As usual, she acts selfishly, spoiled, and mean-spirited in a childish way. I wanted to see the groom in all his glory and celebrate with him. But it seems that won't happen. I should head back. I'll apologize to the groom who invited me later. There's something bothering me. But if there's no seat for me, there's nothing I can do. I feel anger bubbling up as I watch my sister-in-law laughing carelessly in front of me. But it's a celebration, so I need to stay calm. It's okay, by the time the reception is over. She will regret it. I turned my back on my sister-in-law without saying a word. I left the wedding venue without looking back, listening to her loud laughter. When I got home, I received a call from the groom who had invited me. Right away, he apologized. "I'm really sorry. I didn't realize you weren't there." I apologized too, saying, "Sorry for leaving." But he didn't hear me because my sister-in-law snatched the phone away. "Hey. What are you going to do about this?" "What? What are you talking about? It's your fault." She ranted without explanation. What is she talking about? I would like to say, but I actually have a pretty good idea. Really, I'm so immature. The person sitting in my seat at the reception was a stand-in attendee arranged by my sister-in-law. She had deliberately prepared a woman with a similar build. Told her, "Just sit quietly, that's all," and had her sit there. During the reception, various people related to the groom kept coming to greet that seat. Why does everyone come to my seat instead of the day's main character? The stand-in woman wouldn't know. Of course. But since she was told to stay quiet, she just kept silently receiving business cards handed to her. Even if someone asked, "I'm a fan, could you say just one word, please?" She could only stay silent. The woman confirmed just once. "Is it really okay just to sit here?" She became anxious because she was repeatedly told, "We appreciate your help," and "Please help us again," but she couldn't lift her head. Wouldn't it be bad if it was found out she was a stand-in? However, the bride instructed her to continue. Of course, it's too late to back out now. Eventually, the reception hall darkened, and a short movie started playing. The content was introduced by the groom, a company president. This video was made by a friend as a celebration gift. I believe everyone gathered here has received help from this person. A creator who plans community events and corporate collaborations, contributing to local growth. A single person who draws, produces videos, and does narration, Mary. She even has many fans for her sweet voice. The bride sweated bullets. The shut-in or loser she thought was a creator? Sweet voice? What does that mean? When my company was struggling, Mary created our website. And now we get hundreds of inquiries from it. Many of you are from similar companies, right? Applause started in the venue. Terrified, the stand-in woman tried to escape while it was dark. Thank you for watching this wonderful movie. Mary, thank you for supporting our community. The spotlight hit the woman, revealing she was not the real person. Who is that? The venue erupted in chaos. The stand-in woman screamed, "I can't do this anymore. You said you'd just feed me delicious food." Saying that, she shoved the business cards at the bride. "I don't know anything about this," and ran away. The groom confronted his bride. "Where is my friend Mary?" I don't know." "Who is that woman?" "I don't know." "You don't know?" "But you were talking about it." "It's not my fault." "What are you going to do about this?" I thought even my sister-in-law would regret it by now. But if Mary had just told me properly, I wouldn't have been this mean. Liar. That was her attitude. I haven't lied about anything. Can't she even apologize now? Does she truly think she's not at fault? I said, "Please put the groom on the phone." "Then, will you persuade him?" "About what?" "He's thinking of calling off the marriage. All that's left is to submit the marriage registration." Really? The guests left early because of the awful atmosphere. Why should I have to defend her? I stayed silent and the phone was handed over to the groom. "Mary, I'm sorry, it was a movie you made specially for us." "It was really good, thank you." No, I'm really sorry about my sister-in-law." No, I'd like to say it's my wife's fault, but," he said with a sigh, "I fell in love with her at first sight because she was young, cute, and innocent. Seeing the true nature of my sister-in-law, which isn't just innocence but something dangerously immature, it's natural for him to have second thoughts." Even if she had apologized honestly, her defiant attitude is unacceptable. I think it's the worst thing to say as a man, or even as a person. But I find myself wishing there wasn't a baby in her belly. Huh? That lie was still ongoing? I truly sympathize with him, swayed by her fraudulent behavior. I don't think it's my place to say anything about their relationship, but he's an important friend. I want him to be happy. I decided to let something slip. "She's not pregnant." "What do you mean?" "There was never a baby from the start." "Maybe you should verify that before deciding anything?" I said that and hung up the phone. If he's only getting married out of a sense of duty, I wouldn't recommend continuing with her. They should really talk honestly. Honestly, I want to tell him to run away from such a woman right now. I'm really not being very adult about this. Still, it's a shame I couldn't watch the movie I made for a friend at the reception. Most of my work is published online, and I rarely get to see people's reactions in person. I reached out individually to friends and acquaintances who were invited to the wedding to apologize. Everyone gave me kind words and shared their thoughts on the movie. I was really pleased. There was even a new job order. Despite the mess, thanks to the groom, it turned into good publicity. Honestly, I hate being spotlighted in such a crowded place, as I usually don't show my face. And who started saying my narration was in a sweet voice? I admit I put on a bit of an act to be more audible. They mean it as a compliment, but it's embarrassing, and I wish they'd stop. When my husband returned from his business trip, he was furious at his sister for causing a scandal based on a lie. That almost led to a broken engagement. At the same time, he was worried. Given his position, that's understandable. He's depressed, wondering if there's something wrong with how he raised her, having been like a parent to her since they lost their parents, and listened to her kindly. But it's all brother's fault. You married such a woman. If you think it's bad, you should get a divorce too. Typical of her. Pure, unadulterated selfishness. She's an adult and a member of society. Even if she is his sister. Even if he's her brother, he's not responsible for absorbing that. My husband finally lost his temper. He cut off all means of contact and even posted a "Sister not welcome" sign at the front door. No calls are forwarded at his company. Worse than a stranger. Rejection from someone who has always been gentle is terrifying. When a usually calm person gets angry, it's truly frightening. His methods are merciless. At last, my sister-in-law quieted down. She probably never thought she'd be completely abandoned like this. I'm the only one she can still contact. Maybe one day she'll reflect and call to apologize? As long as she keeps blaming everyone else, who knows when that will be. Now, I'm swamped with work. Thankfully, I'm constantly getting new job requests through referrals and word of mouth. A blessing in disguise, really. That's all for now.